Our playoff march continues as the Leafs humiliate the Sens 5-1. Our playoff march continues! Toronto Maple Leafs have named Dion Phaneuf the 18th team captain in Leaf history. Leafs, beast in the East. And the Leafs are rocking it out in the Music City. Oh man, that was great. Sens. No cup since 1927. That is sad. Funny thing is, though, before the game started, I read an Ottawa Citizen article about some author saying that Senators fans were complaining to the Sens upper management about how Leaf fans ruin the experience for Senators fans when the Leafs come to the Scotiabank Centre to play the Ottawa Senators. I mean, what experience are they talking about? The experience of seeing the Leafs beat the Ottawa Senators, or seeing Colton Orr beat up almost every Senators player he fights? Man, the guy's a UFC fighter, but my point is, why are they complaining about Leaf fans? I mean, the Montreal Canadiens are about an hour away from the Ottawa Senators, and yet when they play, and Habs fans take up like half the Scotiabank Centre, the Senators fans are not complaining about them, and yet Habs fans are just as rowdy as Leaf fans, especially when they boo Kovalev. Well, anyways, here's how this humiliation of the Ottawa Senators happened. Before the game started, James Reimer got his first start net in the NHL Saturday night. First period, King MacArthur, with the might of Excalibur, scores on the first Leaf shot less than 2 minutes into the game, and it's 1-0 for the Leafs. And Dangle's hat, buddy, if you're watching this video, my advice is to duck. Unless Steve's already made his video before I posted this online. Anyways, Shannon is penalized. The Leafs could not score on that power play. And Colton Orr and Chris Neil get into a fight for that wasn't much of a fight. It was more like every one of them was holding on to their jerseys, thinking, hey, you know what, I'm tired. Let's hold on to our jerseys, and maybe we'll get some 5-minute fighting majors. But that didn't happen. Instead, it was a 4-on-4 situation. And when things get to even strength, a Senators turnover sends Kessel, Bozak, and Crab off to the races. Crab to Bozak, scores! 2-0 for the Leafs. And later, on the same line, Bozak scores again. 3-0 Leafs. And out goes Elliott. In comes Brodeur before the period's over. And not only that, but Colton Orr and Matt Carkner renew hostilities, and it wasn't much of a fight as Colton Orr quickly flattens Matt Carkner. But then the Leafs are on the power play, and the Leafs could not score, but then Boyce is penalized for hooking Carlson, I think it was, and then Grabowski is later penalized for tripping the same player. And the Senators end up on a 5-on-3 advantage, but the hockey gods were kind to the Leafs as the 5-on-3 was dissected a little bit by the first intermission. And in the second period, thanks to the efforts of Tim Brent blocking shots and Francois Beauchemin clearing the puck, the Leafs were able to kill off all 2 penalties. And not only that, but Daryl Boyce later gets his very first career NHL goal, 4-0 for the Leafs. And the humiliation was not done there, as Mike Brodeur was screened, allowing Luke Shen from the blue line to score 5-0 Leafs. And the Leafs were just kicking it back from there, although later Smith gets penalized, but unfortunately Mike Commissar gets penalized after that, and Beauchemin is penalized for high sticking. Once again, the Senators are on a 5-on-3 advantage, and unfortunately James Reimer will not be joining Ed Belfour and J.S. Shiger in the list of Leaf goalies who got shutout wins on their first career game as a Leaf player, as Gonchar from the power play on the 5-on-3 scores from the blue line to make it a 5-1 lead for the Leafs. And then Phaneuf and Fisher sort of get into a scrimmage a little bit. Both were gone into the penalty box, but Mike Fisher was the only player that got a minor penalty. I think Phaneuf just got a fighting major or something. But anyways, in the third period, Kovalev is penalized, and after that, 4 players from the Leafs and 4 players from the Senators get into a fight. For the Leafs, I think it was Phaneuf, Tim Brent, Colton Orr, I can't remember the 4th Leaf player. And for the Senators, it was Chris Neal, Matt Karkner, can't remember the other 2 from the Sens, but anyways, Colton Orr and Chris Neal renew hostilities from earlier in the game, and oh man, it was a slugfest. Even though Chris Neal got off some good shots on Colton Orr later hammered him as he got his arm free and laid down some hurting bombs on Chris Neal. I swear, when Colton Orr retires, he should take up a career in the UFC. I mean, this guy is a tough fighter. Almost nobody can beat him. And Phaneuf is later penalized, but the Leafs were able to kill off that penalty, and the Leafs go on to humiliate the Ottawa Senators 5-1. I mean, come on, Sens. You guys actually thought you were a challenge to the Leafs? Jeez. But I will admit, the Leafs did lay back in the third period and played defensively more than they played offensively. But that's only because the Senators were demoralized because their goaltending sucked. I hate to say this, but their goaltending sucks. And I'll bet you there's not one Ottawa Senators fan who's probably calling for Brian Murray's head right now, or at least a coaching change, or for Melnick to do something about the team. But I can tell you this, with the way things are going, the Leafs are going to make the playoffs, and the Habs and Senators are both going to miss the playoffs because the Senators are just too terrible of a team this year, and the Habs are on a free fall towards 9th or 10th spot, and the Leafs will be up on the rise, especially when J.S. Shiger gets back from injury, because, well, he plays a lot better when he's not worried about his groin. But anyways, I should also mention Team Canada beat Team Norway on Sunday 4-1. Now, here's the dilemma. The Leafs are facing the Boston Bruins on Monday night at 7. Team Canada is facing Team USA in the semifinals at 7:30. So, which game are you going to be watching, Leaf fans? Is it Team Canada of the World Junior Classic or Team Canada of the NHL? Anyways, no matter what game you decide, until after Monday night, go Leafs, go!